You're accomplished a lot. You're getting bigger and stronger. My biggest question to you, and I know you don't have to answer it because you don't want to answer it, but I'm going to say it to you. At some point, I feel that you're going to have to move out, and at some point, you're going to have to meet your best friend, Shakur Stevenson, right? My question to you, when you go to, say what you guys want. How can you sleep at night or be the competitor and think to yourself, well, I didn't fight the best fighter?
I can sleep at night?
Yeah.
With millions of dollars in my bank account.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Keyshawn.
Hey, Key, you gonna take a picture?
Keyshawn, Debo said he's coming for you. Debo Dev, he said it's coming. He can tweet it.
You gonna beat up Debo?
Craig.
So I had to go ahead and get a fresh cut to talk about this nonsense, to talk about this old bullshit going on with Keyshawn Davis, man. Very disappointing stuff. One of the most blatant, and I hate to say it, but blatant ducks we've ever seen in modern boxing history. So Keyshawn Davis, there was a purse bid. He was supposed to get $2.1 million by Devin Haney. He decided to opt out of that. And now his reputation is once again tarnished. So before we even get into any of that, let me just first give a special supreme shout out to Pops, because Pops sees things in people that sometimes even I don't see. And I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. But Pops, he's been in wars. He's literally been in the streets. Like my dad's lived a hell of a life and knows people, right? And you guys seen it. You guys seen it back in May when we was in Virginia, and he asked Keyshawn Davis the question of, like, you know, you don't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. How do you sleep with yourself at night? And to that, Keyshawn Davis responded to my dad by saying, with millions in my bank account, which now that statement doesn't even check out, because you was getting millions to fight Devin Haney, and you opted out of fighting Debo Dev. So, you know, it is what it is. It doesn't check out anymore. So yeah, shout out to Pops. Pops was right. Now, that being said, let's talk about it. Keyshawn Davis called for this fight. You know, he was saying things like, you know, don't pick on them Spanish people and them Latins and shit like that. And he said, pick on me. You know, call me. Right? So Debo Dev, he came, and you know, they made him a fair offer. $3 million, I think, is more than fair. It's more than he's made in his career. And as Lance Pugmire, the great rider, reported today, the representatives of Keyshawn Davis reported back to them that was an insanely low number in their estimation, which ultimately, by and large, contributed to the fight not happening. Now, this loss, this PR loss, because it's not a loss in the ring. No matter how much we don't like the fact that that Keyshawn pulled out the fight, it's still not a loss in the ring. It's not going to go on Devin Haney or Keyshawn Davis's box strike, but it is, in fact, a PR nightmare, a PR loss of epic proportions. But it ain't just his PR loss. Oh, no, 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 no. It's also Shakur Stevenson's PR loss, because Shakur Stevenson, you know, this is the second time this calendar year he sent one of his boxing brothers on a suicide mission. The first one was Raymond Ford. That didn't work out. You see Shocky Foster literally throw him out the ring and then outbox him, right? And now, you know, his main brother, you know, Keyshawn, he sent him on a suicide mission to fight Devin, and he self-sabotaged that one. And so now you got Shakur Stevenson running all over Twitter talking about, call my bluff, fight me at 144. And like, I'm gonna say here what I really tweeted to Shakur. You know, I'll say it right here on video. So there's a video version of it. Grown men fight at 147 pounds. So my thing is, 144 pounds is not a weight class. If you want to become a legitimate, you know, welterweight champion, if you want your win against Devin Haney, if you should beat him, of course, because we don't even know if he'll beat Devin Haney, but if you want it to be legit, fight Devin Haney at 147 pounds. Anything other than that is nonsense. So it is what it is, and you got to ask the question of, where does Keyshawn Davis go from here? Because this is a guy that lost his title on the scale. This is a guy that let Shakur Stevenson take his big fight against Teofimo Lopez away from him. This is a guy that, you know, now he called for Devin Haney. He shot it from the mountaintops with Devin Haney, and when push came to shove, he did not behave like a champion, you know. And like I said, I'm not mincing my words. I'm not half-stepping when I'm saying this. When you consider what Keyshawn Davis has made in his career, when you consider all the hooting and hollering he's done in his career about getting big fights, to finally get the big fight presented to you with a more than fair offer, probably even above what his actual market value is, and then at the 11th hour, tuck your tail and completely avoid and duck the fight, it is one of the biggest ducks in modern boxing history. And I'm not exaggerating. This is not hyperbole. And I'm not even trying to put down Keyshawn Davis because I like Keyshawn Davis, but I call it like I see it. 1,000%, I call it like I see it. So now, as far as what's next for Devin, I mean, Devin can obviously fight Shakur Stevenson if they can come to a full agreement. You know, if not, I mean, Devin's got fights like Tiger Johnson there. He can fight Liam Parle, which I think is probably going to be the move. You know, Liam Parle has already been contacted by Bill Haney. Liam Parle is a guy that has history with Devin because they sparred, and Liam Parle just happens to be the IBF welterweight champion. So it'll be a chance for Devin to pick up another strap against another credible, legit fighter that he should beat. So that from a management standpoint, I feel like that's the move that makes the most sense. And yeah, I mean, maybe he could fight the winner of if Ryan comes through his fight. I mean, there's always that fight in his back pocket, which I ultimately think is the biggest fight out there, and quite possibly the biggest fight in all of boxing, especially in this country, in America. The rematch between him and Ryan because of all those storylines and things like that. But yeah, I mean, Devin Haney, you know, he's proven his value time and time again. And again, this is coming from a guy like me. I've never been the biggest Devin Haney fan, or you know, I've been pretty neutral about Devin Haney. But you know, you give credit where credit is due. The guy Devin Haney is showing you guys time and time again that he's willing, ready, and able to step up, take the biggest and best fights. So happy. You know, well, I don't want to say I'm happy for anybody. I'm not happy at all, actually, because I wanted to see the fight, and I'm sure, you know, for the big PR win that it is gonna be for Devin and Bill, I'm really sure that deep down they wanted this fight too, because they wanted to beat Keyshawn Davis and snatch his undefeated record and continue to position themselves as the, you know, one of the top fighters in the sport, and better position themselves for the big fights, bigger fights like Shakur Stevenson and the Ryan Garcia rematch. So they don't get that opportunity, unfortunately, but life goes on. As far as Keyshawn Davis, where the hell does Keyshawn Davis go from here? Because it's been such an up and down career from him. Obviously, he's won every fight he's been in, but every time he does something really great, you know, it's followed up by something, you know, not so great right after. You know, he becomes a world champion, he loses his title on the scale. You know, he gives his life to Jesus, he misses weight again, you know. So it's like recurring theme. He gets the Devin Haney fight put on the table. He talks all this nonsense about Devin Haney. He pulls out the Devin Haney fight and leaves the millions that he told my dad that he sleeps with in his bank account. He leaves it on the table, right? And a lot of legacy and a lot of reputation on the line. He leaves it on the table. So, I mean, obviously, I'd probably say Brian Norman Jr. is a fight because, you know, that's top rank and top rank. Brian Norman Jr. did fight Devin Haney. Brian Norman Jr. is a former world champion. So maybe that's a fight they can do. If not that fight, you know, you got Tiger Johnson. But again, with all respect to Brian Norman and Tiger Johnson, those are not the fights. Those are not the kind of fights that those are not the kind of fights that are as big as Devin Haney, and those aren't the fights that are going to allow Keyshawn Davis to prove to the boxing world to be what he said he's been all these years, which is, you know, one of those guys, one of the faces of boxing. Keyshawn Davis was literally saying on Instagram Live only just a couple of days ago that when I stop Devin Haney, I'm gonna be the face of boxing. But how can you stop Devin Haney if you don't get in the ring with Devin Haney? You know, so it's really a shame. And there are some times in boxing, there are certain cases in boxing where avoiding a fight at a particular time in your career will be career altering. Like one example I'll give you is Riddick Bowe, a great, you know, one of my favorite fighters, or a friend of mine. But Riddick Bowe, you know, he didn't fight Lennox Lewis in 1992, and there's a lot of interpretations on that, you know. But the popular one and the popular opinion and the popular narrative, which I can't even say I disagree with, is that he did duck Lennox Lewis by throwing the belt in the trash. And while Bowe went on to still be a Hall of Famer and a great fighter. People not seeing that fight didn't allow us to know how to the magnitude of how great was Riddick Bowe, right? And I believe that move by him and Rock Newman at that particular point was a career-altering move. And it's very possible that Keyshawn Davis not fighting Devin Haney at this particular time could be a career-altering move, and not in a good way. So we'll see how it goes, man. Sucks to see, but that's the fight game. Sometimes people get bad advice. It's easy for people on the outside to criticize, and they're gonna criticize, and the boxing fans deserve to criticize because this is a fight he should have taken. But one thing I know from being around different fighters over the years is that, it gets to a point where there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and fighters start getting really terrible advice from people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and it leads them down the wrong path. And this could be one of those cases. I don't know Keyshawn like that. I don't claim to know him like that, but it just, to me, it reeks of a move that someone that doesn't know what they're talking about, that he trusts, got in his ear and told him that this is the right move, when in actuality it's not the right move. Keyshawn Davis would have got more respect fighting Devin Haney and losing in a really fun, competitive fight than he is right now. No one would have hated on Keyshawn Davis if he would have fought Devin Haney and lost. And if he would have won, then he would have been, like he said, he would have been one of the faces of boxing. But now you rob yourself of the chance to prove your greatness to the world. You robbed the boxing fans of their time, attention, and energy getting excited for this fight. And you robbed yourself of $2.1 million. And really, you robbed yourself of $3 million because that's what it was supposed to be. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We'll have more coverage on this as things develop and things progress, but I want to just come give my initial reaction on it. Shout out to Devin Haney and Bill Haney and DHP, and I guess shout out to Keyshawn Davis. I mean, it sucks it didn't happen, but it's the fight game. And Keyshawn Davis, I believe, deserves every bit of ridicule coming his way because he did a whole lot of talking. And when you write a lot of checks with your mouth, you best be prepared to back them up. And when the reality struck of what a Devin Haney fight would have been like, when he started to really dissect in his mind to himself when he was alone, the moment was too big. The occasion was much too great for the businessman to step up to the plate and be what he says he is. And for that, people are going to criticize him. And heavy is the head that wears the crown. A lot of fighters complain about people criticizing them, but it's part of being great. If you can't take criticism and you can't handle the heat that comes your way from the opponent or the outside noise, then you don't deserve to be called great. And I'll just leave it at that. Y'all can leave it at that in the comments down below.